Thank you very much, and good evening. I'll keep you here for about half an hour, and I'm really looking forward to telling you this story. This is the story of ARTEC. I'll tell you how it became, where we come from, and hopefully a little bit of what we're doing. Now, ARTEC is the Art and Technology Task Force. I am the formal leader of it, but I'm very happy to say that we have a coordinator who's Dean of the Humanities faculty, and we have a steering group consisting of the deans of the Humanities faculty, the ICT faculty, and the Architecture and Design faculty. This actually shows the importance that my university is putting into this field. You know, 3 deans, it's really in the core production of the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. So that's why I'm so happy to share this moment with you. And Marianne, thank you for the introduction. I always like to say I'm a professor at the Department of Electronic System Design. And of course, I do research. I do sensor-based digital storytelling. I have a very mono research. I'm very monodisciplinary in that I work with compression, I work with sensor technology, I also work with quality modeling and assessment. And I have a multi or interdisciplinary part where, you know, I need collaborators to work with content. I need collaborators to work with the creativity, the societal engagement, and I need someone that can reflect on this with me and see where we go, and also in the dissemination. So I think it's important to have a good monodisciplinary practice in your research, but also then engross on this interdisciplinary. And I'm also the director of NTNU ARTEC, and I'm the scientific representative for DARIAH at NTNU as a cooperating partner. Trondheim is here in beautiful Norway. It's in the middle of Norway. Usually we say north, but it's not actually north, but it's north for those who live in Oslo. But there's a long way north, north of Trondheim. We have a spread campus system. We now have campuses in the city of Aarhus on the west coast, and we have a campus in the city of Gjøvik in the inland. So, you know, our campuses are 400 kilometers apart. It takes longer to get to the Gjøvik campus than it takes to get to Aarhus for some reason. But never mind. They're all beautiful. This is Trondheim. Of course, now this is Trondheim. It's magic with the Northern Lights. If you haven't seen the Northern Lights, this is good. This is our main building. This is our Harry Potter building of the Gløshaugen campus at my university. And in the Northern Lights, it's amazing. You must come and see. It's really, really, really beautiful. So the story. I went to MIT in 1999. I went to this seminar here, October 20, 1999. It was sensibles. You know, they were looking at how do we get sensors into toys, how do we get sensors into clothes. I thought this was really fascinating. It was the first time that I had experienced the MIT Media Lab setting and the way they work with collaborators. So I immediately went home and I established the Midgard Media Lab. Of course, the Midgard, the Viking snake, keeping the world together. Of course, the head bites the tail in the capital of the Viking era, Trondheim. So I made this, and this was quite successful for 10 years. Unfortunately, not forever, but we also got what's called a Norwegian Center of Excellency, Center for Fremragende Forskning, for 10 years. Which was also a really good opportunity to dive down. You know, 10 years of fantastic funding, 50 PhD students and 50 postdocs. Something that was real. You build momentum on that. We had some very interesting projects. I had a project called the Digital Storytelling Tool, an experience project. 2 of my PhDs went into the artistic direction. We had Wendy Ann Mansilla, who had all these colorful exhibitions. And she actually managed to do a PhD in ICT, in the IE faculty, based on exhibitions. So not a theoretical work with papers published in journals and conferences, but we had 9 or 10 international exhibitions, exhibited all over the world, Brazil, Italy, Spain. And then I had another PhD student who was working on perspectives on neuroimaging, picturing the brain, the plasticity of the brain. He did this by making art. So he made art pieces. We exhibited the art, and he wrote a small reflection and defended his PhD at the ICT faculty, which was quite new and probably a start of what you would see, because eventually we designed something that's, I would call, an interactive installation park, which is a park, not very beautiful, not very big, but it's a huge laboratory. It's an outdoor laboratory built in with a sensor network, which is sort of the source. And we made a vision for this park who has three owners, interestingly. It's the municipality of Trondheim, Trondheim kommune. It's Adresseavisa, the biggest newspaper in mid-Norway. And it's the university. So we made this vision together. The park shall be an open arena for test and experimentation of new experiences and new digital media. It shall be a place for play, exploration and learning, and for wandering, experiencing and recreation. All visitors shall be surprised and enthusiastic both through what they experience and what they can do. The content and activities are based on technology, art and media. So this was the start, because due to this and due to my university funding my part into the park, he asked me to put together a structure. So I actually spent quite a long time. I won't bore you with time, but it took a long time to get the university to realize that this is very important. But they now do. So the NTNU established a steering committee consisting of the deans from these three faculties. They established ARTEC, the Art and Technology Task Force. It hopefully will evolve into a trans-faculty center of artistic research. That's our vision. They also said that when you do this and make this construction, we will fund it, and we want you to oversee and coordinate Adressaparken as a platform, an experimental platform outdoors. We want you to take the scientific coordination of DARIAH. We also have a collaboration with an art gallery, Kunsthall in Trondheim. And they threw in these two clusters. Next Media and Technoport are ICT media-oriented industrial clusters with SMEs. Technoport is like an event manager. So we had clusters, event, innovation. DARIAH, they said, please explore Horizon 2020. For Adressaparken, we use an artist-in-residence scheme, which we go. So this structure has been built. This is in place. And I would like to tell you what it's been doing. We put together a very nice board, 9 people in the board. We have a few people from KIT, which is the art academy in Trondheim. We have a few people from technology. ED is the computer science department. ES, that's my electronic systems department. We have from literature and language. We have from arts and media studies, and we have from the Department of Music. So it's a quite interdisciplinary field. We actually meet every second week and we try to drive this ARTEC engine. We try to make it matter. We bring very strong disciplinary research into it, which is a key. And we don't sort of just collaborate, we're transdisciplinary, so we're trying to fuse into this Center for Artistic Research where we actually can benefit from each other. And I think we will succeed because this is a real bottom-up. We've done this, the 9 people, because we believe in it and we believe it makes our research stronger. No one's asked us to do it. We have forced them to acknowledge us and they've seen the beauty of it. Adressaparken opened 15 September 2015, so it's already 3 years old. We opened with an exhibition, and of course we opened at midnight, 15 September, Trondheim. It was raining horizontally, it was blowing, but we gathered 500 people, came out at 23:59 on 15 September. And they were there until well over midnight to experience an interactive storytelling park. A park with LED lights, which are architecturally designed to split the park into newspaper columns, different stones, which are the writing of the newspaper. We have projectors, we have speakers, lots of sensors. We sense who's there, which direction they're walking. If they're standing still, we can count, I can count 1 too many, something like that. So it's really challenging. The most challenging, I can tell you, was that we had tested and tested before this opening, especially the motion tracking, with 10 people in the park, which is common. 500, the whole thing stopped working completely. There was no way. So we had to run down in the machine room and fake it. I don't think anyone noticed, actually. They were all happy. So we also work with DARIAH, and this is my personal view of some of the things I think DARIAH will help us do at my university. It's not official DARIAH, but I think We need to define digital humanities at my university. We need to see this as a very important emerging field and find our role. We need to reflect and find our position. We need to see the evolution of digital humanities through the engagement in technology, because we are a very technology-oriented university which has a lot of humanities and has a lot of art. But we are the Norwegian University for Science and Technology. We're a national university. Also explore the cross-disciplinary collaborations in arts, humanities and technology. So art and technology, ARTEC, we're broad. Art means fine art, music, humanities, design, architecture, and we mix it with technology. Cross-sectoral collaborations to address societal challenges, very interesting and very important for us to explore, because it's part of our slogan for NTNU. It's technology for a better world, so through transdisciplinary collaborations. Next Media is a cluster. Technoport is a cluster also, and an event organizer. So I think it's interesting just to show a little video of some of the events. So we're going to have an event soon, next week. So some of the key applications we work with, it might be far from DARIAH, but it still has to do with art, humanities and technology, like sports, digital sports, sports technology, like journalism, VR and journalism, and immersive journalism, immersive media technology experiences, artificial intelligence and machine learning. How can we bridge this wonderful new technology and make it for the best by combining arts and humanities and technology? So of course we have a manifest. I've sort of told you a little bit what it is. We're exploring, inventing, we're developing critical perspectives on technology and society. We have a research culture. This research culture, you might agree with me or not, but bridging arts, humanities and technology, they're very, very different research cultures. It's very hard to talk together. It takes a long time to build the trust between these disciplines. But it's only by building this trust that you can get the culture, and then we can take projects into a new realm where we have projects with high ambitions. High ambitions, high risk. From my technical mono research, I'm used to these big projects with high ambitions. 50 PhDs, 50 postdocs. Imagine this, if we could have this in a trans-faculty research environment, how much we could do. We want to look at empathy, abstraction, disruptive innovations. You see, innovation is a driver here. And then, of course, we coordinate all of these efforts like ARTEC, our Artist in Residence scheme, and the DARIAH-EU. We have a focus area, but I thought instead of reading that, I'll show you some examples. I'll show you some examples of what we actually do. So we do work, and I use the park really to do some artistic expressions in urban environments to see if there's any way we can increase immersiveness, emotions, make unsafe places safe by using artistic expressions. Doing this urbanism, the new type of digital cities, the new type of smart cities, smart art. Make smart art. That must be the best way to go for a smart city. We're a member of Connecting Cities, the European network, with this Adressaparken, and we try to do stuff. So this is a snapshot I took just a few days ago. I can track people. I can have them do wonderful things by just using simple visualization, simple flow maps using this motion tracking. So this is one of the advertisements I give to artists. Come and work in my park. Look what you can do. This is just very simple visualization of some of the sensors that are there. They're always there. You can use them. They're freely available. Adressaparken is open source, open data, free. So the owners pay for the maintenance. The owners pay for me to try to develop the park. Anyone can use it at any time. Of course, we can't use it all at the same time, so we have a program committee, which I'm currently also heading, which is just a timing. You know, if 10 people want to use it at the same time, that's a bit difficult. We've also come up with an online book, which is multi-use play spaces. What we're trying to do is try to make a framework for you if you want to explore an urban place by not having a stale place, but putting in loose elements. Now, imagine a child in a sandbox. That's okay. A child sandbox, a shovel, a spade, and a star. That's when you start playing. So we must place these loose elements, the sensors, the actuators, access to the data. These are the loose parts. And if you can play with them, you just go to the park's webpage. All the user interfaces, all the APIs are there. You can access all the data and use it for whatever you like. If you want to use the park's actuators, the lights, the screens, the speakers, you actually have to be there physically. So we made a division there. We also work a lot in the sciences working on the environment. Geir Johnsen, who is a professor of ARTEC technology, he works mostly underwater. He dives, he tries to find out how the Arctic is being ruined and destroyed by our modern life. And the best way he knows to try to tell people about it is to visualize it, like meet the creatures of the Arctic polar night. You saw the northern lights. If you look at the northern lights long enough, they actually start affecting you, and they have a sound too. They make shapes, figures. So why not use that to reflect over our environment and the risks? Because it's so much easier for people to understand. They instantly connect. Yes, I know this looks very different. So Polar Science and Technology, we have a great work there. So if you ever wondered what a star sounds like, this is it. Øyvind Brandtzæg, a professor in music technology, has composed this piece. It's based on information, data gathered live from these huge antennas up in the north. He's composed a piece of music that lasts for 7 years. So I don't think you should listen to the whole at once. But if you want to, it's streamed live. You just go in here, it's streamed. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's streamed live at the Mapping Authority of Norway, who have the responsibility for it. And they've had it now for 2 years. They can actually go and listen to it, and it changes, and they can predict when the northern light's coming. They can predict when there's a big star storm or solar storm, just by listening to it. And it's there 24/7. So they want the change. Huh? So this is a very nice piece. It's called the Starlight Sonata. Øyvind was instrumental when they put up the antennas. He has gathered the signal and he's composed the piece. That's sound art and music technology, signals from the stars. Andreas Bergsland, who I think some of you might have met, he works in transmedia storytelling. He tries to combine his sonic sensors into driving dancers. So you have musicians in a space who collaborate with the musicians. Their movements will compose the next piece of the music. So we have technology based on video tracking, motion sensors, orientation sensors. Put them into sonic software and you get this playfulness between dance and music, which is also a very interesting project. We have a project by Letizia Yakeri from Computer Science. She's using playfulness to teach young girls to code. Coding is important. Coding is one of the skills that probably will be in demand for the next, I don't know, predict the next 5-10 years, maybe longer. It's important to be able to code. So coding for all, she puts it into a very futuristic, artistic scenario, and it seems they have fun. She would usually do this in school breaks like the autumn holiday, Christmas, Easter. She has these workshops called Coding for All, and she has her little mascot there. I forgot the name, but she does Coding for All. We also have, from the Department of Literature and Language, using strong digital humanities to work towards refugees and borders, and see if we can have this into an artistic space. So this is Hanna Musiol, one of my colleagues. We also are hosts of another conference, which is actually on Tuesday. So I think this might be a little short notice for you, but I think the combination of technology and emotions is very unexplored, and I think there's a lot of interest in it. There's a lot we can get out of it. We've chosen very different keynote speakers to see if we can further this art and technology. I don't know if you're aware, but CERN, the nuclear particle physics laboratory, have one of the largest artist in residence programs in Europe. There's a lot of scholarships to get. This also moves a little bit into Horizon 2020, which we're very active in. Horizon 2020 has, or are looking for the next project to govern their STARTS funding, science, technology and arts. There is already one project working now, which is called Vertigo. Vertigo would take ICT projects in the Horizon 2020 that have funding, call for interests, they'll choose a handful, then they'll call for artists, and they will pay for an artist in residence to explore disruptive innovation based on existing results from ICT projects. Very exciting. They have their first round of artists working now. We will have 4 of them present at the Technology and Emotions Conference. I think there's opportunities. I think there's opportunities for DARIAH. I'm happy to be here and learn more about DARIAH. I think it's opportunities for us. So if anyone wants to collaborate with ARTEC in moving forward, for instance, Horizon 2020, or even designing an ITN, the training network from Marie Curie, on artistic research. Have a PhD program in artistic research. I think this would be quite unique and quite new. This is a little bit of what ARTEC does. You saw the story, 1999, I went to MIT Media Lab. You know, it's small things, but that started it. Now it's formalized. The dean in charge, Anne-Kristine Børresen, is very engaged. She's very happy with the work we're doing. We're trying to put all forces now in the first year to show that what we sold was actual goods. And also I'm very happy to have the technology faculty, and it's very exciting to have the architecture and design too. So thank you very much for listening.